All right, and with me now is women's advocate Erin Lee, the executive director of Lanark County Interval House. We just saw her in Mike Walker's piece, and we're glad that you could be with us to further the conversation. So, good morning, and thanks for being with us. Can you explain, first of all, what it would mean to declare intimate partner violence an epidemic?
I think to declare IPV an epidemic in the province of Ontario sends a message to those living with, those enduring, those family members who are healing, that the of Ontario is recognizing and making decisions and choices to make it different, to validate that experience, to recognize that systems are failing women and children across this province, and we need to make it different.
And when many of us hear the word epidemic, we think, wow, this is a widespread problem. Can you speak to that? And can you define what intimate partner violence looks like and what it is?
I think that when we think about the epidemic kind of concept, it's important to know that intimate partner violence, there's no immunity, there is no vaccination, there is no clear way out. It touches every community, every gender, every socioeconomic status. It touches every culture, every faith group, and there is no immunity. I think that if we look back over the last month, the Ontario Association of Interval and Transition Houses reports there were 8 femicides in the last month in the province of Ontario. This is a reality. It is touching all communities. There's not a community in Ontario who can say that they have not been impacted by femicide. And more than 75% of the population of Ontario has declared through their municipalities that indeed we have an epidemic.
Is intimate partner violence always physical in nature?
Absolutely not. I think that's been a misnomer for many, many years. I think escalated violence, often when we think about the volatility, the risk and the likelihood of physical violence is often there, but it's emotional violence, it's psychological violence, it's the put downs, it's the isolation, it's the control mechanisms that really are abusive and the tactics that are used to keep power and control over the victims of violence. The escalation to femicide and to overt violence happens as the cycle continues to be perpetuated by abusers in our communities.
So the move to support the bill is obviously a really good first step, but what more needs to be done, Erin?
I think it's a good move. I think progress is something that we always want to see. Steps forward is always something that's optimistic. I would say I'm cautiously optimistic. It's now going to committee. I don't want to see that bill sit in committee for 2 years and we have 54 more femicides in Ontario. We need to expedite this situation. We need to provide what the government is looking for. We have all the evidence and information and research. We need to work alongside our government. We are open, we are willing, and we welcome that opportunity so that a plan can be put in place, pass the third reading, and move on to implementation. I really think the government needs to consider having an internal staff position that really helps the government be informed at every turn around IPV, the state of it in the province, and what to do next.
My final question then for you. We mentioned that you are the executive director of Lanark County Interval House. What would the women that you work with say about this move?
I think in Lanark County, it's a very interesting situation because our county was the very first municipality in the province of Ontario to declare the epidemic in December of 2020. I think that the women in Lanark County would say, finally, the government is listening to us. Finally, they're recognizing. And I think that there are victims, survivors, and those being impacted by violence who are saying the same thing, that it's not too late ever to make a choice to do the right thing. And this is a good choice towards the
Erin
right
Lee.
direction.
Erin, thanks so much for that. Appreciate it.